okay? So we may or may not be live now. If we are, hi guys out there. It's a square in
Yes,
red on
YouTube
here.
is
Am I
live.
live?
Yeah,
Okay.
YouTube is live, Facebook is not yet live. I'm
Okay,
gonna work on it.
so we are here in the Gompa up at the Caves community. I've been requested to give the four wongs of Dzogchen and the pointing out today, so that's what we're going to be doing. It's open to anyone who wanders in. I'm going to show you a little of a panorama of where we are. And then the other way. Periodically during this, pilgrims may come in and out, and they're quite free to do so. This is a pilgrim point, not a problem. And so that's what's going to be happening here. I wasn't sure what the weather was going to be, so I asked to borrow the Gompa for today, for this teaching, because I didn't want to have people stuck out in the rain. And it's been raining here. So with that said, we shall begin. It's okay to step over the cord. Just try not to trip on it is only. Chuku kundu zambo gomboi, dorji sempa gara dorji dang. Shire singe bardu shinlepde, de dama tata tu sunchi. Dzogchen jupe lama la solowa de. Again Pema junila solowa de. Dorji chang chitulo narudang. Marpa mila gompo tsatsapa. Na pupadang palden drupa suk. Kargulama namla soloa de. Ochen lama namla soloa de. Drujen lama namla soloa de. Kaginware lama namla soloa de. Shakya lama namla soloa de. Yundrung tang yin yendu lama namla soloa de. Kalkondu jangdang yer me pa. Gungarab dorji jin tragpa. Jetidan nesume pai. Palamanam chetente. So, the basis of Dzogchen. The first thing to understand about Dzogchen is that the essence of Buddhahood, Sanji Kengoo, is already there in you. Nalore, kireng rang tata yure. Sacha kakato mogo, gewa korang la pingi me. Digpa korang norgi me. Korang la gyundu yure. Ne ma song shi ma song. De Dzogchen ka pointing out ri. De kireng rang la di la tagugandu. What I am saying is that for Dzogchen, recognizing that Buddha nature is inherent within you is the vital point. It is not something you need to acquire. Creating virtue will not get it for you. Creating digpa will not harm it. It is kata, primordially pure, unsulliable. It is always there, unborn, undying. Korang mitaba sagime. Kireng sanje kango matabala yoma. Gyundu chikpure. It doesn't change, it doesn't come and go, it is always there. It does not suffer from impermanence. You can rely upon it. But in order to rely upon it, you need to recognize it. It is not enough just knowing with your thoughts that it is there. Di sumja dikmari ranka riggugundu. You have to see it, feel it, perceive it, and then transcend thought, feeling, and perception into being. Ranka rigndikmari, ranka ying, sem tsangma zug, sem tsangma nalola hakogo, dempo ying hakogo. You have to be sure. This is the key, is becoming certain. It's the third vital point of Garab Dorji. To develop absolute certainty is the third vital point. You can only develop certainty by experience, not by books, not by texts. Dempo hakona, dempo yin hakona, pejala tegime. Kireng rangarik tegere. When you see it again and again, again and again and again, many, many times, then you will come to be sure. For example, y'all stand up. Alam. Tetsi korapet. Di na gomba nalo la kora tetsi pet. Tetsi draw. It's okay to step over the cord. Do not trip on it. Do not trip, but step over nicely. And then take your seats again. Ganeshu. While you were walking, were you thinking about gravity? Were you relying on gravity in order to walk? Oh, yes, you were. You pick your feet up and you put it forward, and then you lean forward and it goes down because of gravity. Gravity, puke kandras that. Gravity hakogandu chelak tamche katoka yuna ulidro. Tigyu?
Science nang la do na.
Science nang la do. Lasso, yin yang kiren gravity hakondo.
Hakugi.
Kiren korapetna kiren gravity summasong.
No.
Yin na yang gravity mena. Kiren drotomion. Kiren nauka na pa pugire. Di kandra kiren aka nga nauka puna jitra mindu. Kangyen sena kiren pe gravity. Dempo in unalola hako. Lying? How were you not worried of drifting away when you walked into the sky? Did you worry about this? Were you anxious about this? Why not? Because you are sure of gravity. You're not sure by thinking about it. How did you get sure? When you were a little baby, you put things out of the high chair and you let go. And they went down. And mommy cursed at you and picked them up again, put them back on the high chair because you were supposed to eat them. And you did it again and they went down. Your spoon, your plate of peas. Chipuku chunjung yuna. Chilak tanche payu.
No.
Chilak Tamche hula drosong. Lo kashi kireng zosong. Lo tangbo nipa. Chipuku yuri jitrangandu. Tene dempo hako kandu. De sem kagam. Garab dorji tsig nipare. Gam. Di dempo hako sa tagandu. This is why the second word of Garab Dorji, Gam, is so important. It leads to the third word. The three words of Garab Dorji is our base Dzogchen text. It leads to the certainty of your own innate Buddha nature in such a way that you are sure of it and can trust it. This is real refuge. Di Chandro Dempo Ying. Rangi Sanje Kingo. So what is important? When we talk about the three words of Garab Dorji, Tawa, Gompa, Sopa, the first one is to recognize, to see your own nature. The second one is to repeatedly remember to look and notice if it's still there. Hundreds of times a day. Third one will happen naturally. From the second one, you become absolutely certain. Sure. Hakogimbe? So, what is this Buddha nature that we know intellectually is within us, but we are so busy, busy. Nga ngul gugundu, nga chilag song gugundu, nga kalazo gugundu, nga robata gugundu. I need to make food, I need to earn money, I need to talk to my friend. This busyness, where we are constantly focused on outside things. Things that move, things that are impermanent. We're always looking at that with point focus. What we are looking at is the sensations of our 6 sense organs.
She also came with me.
So what is important here is a shift of attention. Only that. You see, your Buddha nature isn't gone away. Even when you're not paying attention to it, you're in here, you're not paying any attention to the sky up there. You're paying attention to words you hear, things you see with your eyes. It didn't have any effect on the sky, did it? Sat right where you left it. So it's a matter of what you pay attention to. Attention, Hakogandu? The idea is to shift your attention. There are some things that make it easier. For instance, if you sit in a proper position with your channels straight, if you are old, sometimes you have to make a backrest, a gamtar, a meditation sash. That's not cheating. You have to sit nicely with your channels in alignment. Your lips should be a little bit separate, not together. Just a little. Your tongue is natural place. Most of the air is through your nose, but a little bit of the air is through your mouth. Just a little bit. And when you breathe in, it's a shorter time than the time breathing out. Short time in, long, slow out. By breathing in this way, with your body in this position, your chi will settle nicely in the channels and not run around so fast. This will help you to keep from being distracted. This method is the same as Mahamudra, but the eye position is different. The eyes are important. Look over there. Do you see how your attention went with your eyes? I bet you can't look over here without your attention going over here. See? Your attention follows your eyeballs. Since we want to take our attention off the point focus on this thing, which takes a lot of focus out of our lives, we want to open up the focus, because natural mind, simni, is big. It's not tiny enough to be in a place. Korang chunjunka disachanandu, zotomyon. So, what you need to do is relax your eyeballs. First, you look at a place 2 meters from the end of your nose, with your head straight ahead. So, look here, 2 meters in front of your nose, at empty space. Now, after you do that, relax your eyeballs so that the side vision and the middle vision are equally clear. While you do this, notice that you are having thoughts. Think of a big tree, a Bodhi tree, a very big old Bodhi tree. Think of the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. Or if you have not been to Bodh Gaya, the Bodhi tree down at the bus stand. Do you see that picture? Did your mind go to Bodh Gaya just now? How did it go? By airplane? By train? By walking? Did the Bodhi tree come here? That Bodh Gaya Bodhi tree would not fit in this room. How did you see the picture? Where did you see the picture? Think of another thought. Think of the room you are living in. Not where is the room, but where are the thoughts about the room occurring? Think any thought you like. Instead of paying attention to what you are thinking, pay your attention to where those thoughts are happening. Do it now, while we are together. There is no there to the where of those thoughts. It's not inside your head or your heart or your thumb or your foot. Look and see, is it? Look for yourself. Don't take my word for this. You look. Rangkaret gugundu. Kurangi semgi namtok kawaii. Kare indrigi me. Kare sum nasum. Tikpa gewa yapo dupo kare sum nasum. Kawa sumgandu. Pupa sumgandu ning nandu. Inji sumgandu lepanandu. Jami sumgandu chimbanandu. Da sumjari. Sumja nemetse kawaii and kidding wrong katago. Zugnori. Zug shilore. Zug nalo yana. Kawa nalo. Shilo sumna. Kawa shilo. Dina. 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 Rang rik gugandu. There is a nundro for this practice, a preliminary that for some people is necessary for a few days. Not forever, it is not the practice itself, it is a nundro, where you go through your body piece by piece and you look in your hair to see if the thoughts are in your hair. You look in your skin. Papa taragandu. Papa nam to. Ne nalo, mit nalo, nacho nalo, le nalola, ke nalola, ning nalola, ula chakra nalola, songwa chakra nalola, chinanto karisagan, kawasagandu, kawadegandu. Di nundro in di zona. This is just a nundro. Looking through each place, each chakra, the soles of your feet, the palms of your hands, inside and front, behind. For Westerners, you make a picture of your room as if you're sitting in it. We say in your mind's eye, so you make that picture and then you look for where that picture is occurring. Because it won't fit between your ears. For Tibetans, you make a picture of your room. This is the nundro. And then your room picture is very big. It won't fit in your heart. Ning nam drogi me, amba chambore. Tene tata kireng dina yuri, zug dina yuri, yin kangba rig tup kire, sem nalo. Di sem ka kangba rigandu kawayin. That's Tibetan way of doing nundro. We change little for Western because language is different. Tibetans say, Nisem kangbala droson. Injis, they don't say that. They say, I see it in my mind's eye. So we say slightly differently the instruction for this nundro between Tibetans and Westerners. The reason I'm partially teaching in Tibetan, guys, out there is because I have Tibetan students here, and I want to make sure they understand too. Even though their English is good, or they would not have come to an English teaching still. Some words are too important to miss. So if I said it in Tibetan and repeated it in English, know that it was very important. Where is your mind? Sem kawaii. Rangata, rangrik. Ngala kawalana galchembo mare. Rangkarik galchembo re. Rang maritna tambo. Teni di nundro ni makashizo. Teni yunging. All of you now, with your channels in alignment, your tongue, your breathing as I showed you, your eyes focused as I showed you. Go look not at what you are thinking, but without naming it or describing it. Look at where your thoughts are happening. Longchen Rab Jaming. Tawa Longchen Rab Jaming. The view is infinite vast expanse. Gompa Kenseo Saring. The meditation is light rays, luminous light rays of love. Do you see it now? Just as it is. Infinite, open, vast beyond limit. without even a center or an edge. Beyond all naming. Oh, we say semni, we say chukugingo. Those are words that isn't the words. Look where the words point. It's not a place. Rankasem semta. Your own mind looks at itself and sees no thingness. Chigarigi me, yin a yang, pungba, long chen rab jam, nagpo mare, o dure. It is not a big, black, old, dead nothing like outer space. Do not confuse the spaciousness with your own mind, with your scientific concept of outer space. It's alive. How do you know? You feel it. If you don't believe me from that, come here and I'll show you on you. It feels. It is capable of thinking, feeling, perceiving. We call this capability Chuku Osel, Dharma Kaya luminosity. We also call it Lonku, Sambhogakaya, where all the gods are born. Your yidam arises is made of the life force. Your sadhana, where you pay offerings and compliments to the deities, the archetypes, as we see in all the Tongas. Troma and Machik, if you're doing chud. Purba. Dorji Pagmo. Kurukuli. And other yidams possible, Hayagriva. Yamantaka. All of these are symbolic manifestations of the vitality of the universe. The vitality without which perception, feeling, and thought could not occur. But since you've been staring at your perceptions, your feelings, and your thoughts with point focus for beginningless time, you got to break the habit. Change it. How do you do this? Again and again, at all times, and on all occasions. Return your attention again and again to that infinite, vast, indescribable, unnameable, unknowable, Chukungo, Dharmakaya nature of mind. This means not just when you're doing your sadhana, when you're eating, drinking, getting up, sitting down, walking and talking. While you're doing these things, right in the middle of them, without stopping doing them, make a quick glance, a quick check for 1 moment. Shift your eye focus. Let go of what you're looking at. Let your eyes become unfocused just for an instant. Just for a tiny, tiny moment. And check and see if your mind is still there. Or if perhaps you've lost it somewhere. That was a joke. You cannot lose it. It's your own Buddha nature. the more you do this practice, which is called gom, checking, the faster you will become sure. This is the pointing out. The nature of your mind, Dharmakaya nature of mind, vitalized by Sambhogakaya nature of Dharmakaya, the clear light of Dharmakaya, Chukungo, a Longkugi nature, manifests as Troku. Trees, mountains. Of course, you distort that. You see a mountain and you worry about how hard it will be to get to the top because you're old. You're distorting the nature of the mountain by thinking at it. When you see nature of mind while seeing phenomena, the phenomena can arise just as it is. And the dance of the Dhyani Buddhas, Amoghasiddhi, Amitabha, Opame, Ratna Samvara, all of this, the Dhyani Buddhas, the initiate emotions arise as the wisdoms of these. You are able to slip smoothly through life without distress, without worry or fear. Or if you have worry and fear, it does not seem as real as Samgingo, Chukugingo, Sam Tawa. Do you understand? On this part, are there questions?
You always mention that to be careful not to try to stabilize the perception of the
Yes.
stillness.
Don't try to hang on. Good one.
But gone, I do feel like what we are practicing is try to get used to recognize it, more learn to rest.
No,
in
you
it.
have to stop trying. It won't work until you stop trying. Do you understand duality? Duality, the original oops, arises as desire and aversion. Dochak dang magali. De duality re. Duality hakugimbe. Nga dang sangmala kakayin sumjere. De tangbo lepsong. Tene semche tamche chalakashi guson chalakashi jitrason. Tene korlo lepsong. Tene korlo drogando. Duality puke de sighakogime. So, because when we first arose beyond time and space, this is occurring in each moment. This isn't a time long, long ago. This is going from the fourth time into the three times. In this beginning arising, we had a slight misperception, sentient beings. Semche tamche. Tetsi marigpa. Hakogi mena. Chik lep song. Natsu sum song. Natsu semche ka sum song. Natsum dire. De tsangma kakai. De dikpatango. De yona tene. Natsu chela kashi gusong. Chela kashi jidra song, ba juk song. Tene lezo song, tene korlo yundu drogando. By this misperception in the original moment of perceiving self and other as separate, where there's me and there's all that out there. I want some of that. I am afraid of others of that. So I chase what I want, and I run from what I don't want, creating karma by my actions. And this karma traps me in the continuous wheel of samsara again and again. As long as you're grabbing at something, you won't get out of duality. Stop trying, Matoyo. Yes, in the beginning you try. You try to find Tawa. You try to see for your own experience. Dharmakaya nature of mind, Semgingo, Chukungo. But after you're really getting good at Gom, the quick glances to see if your mind is really there, is still there, as you're becoming sure of it, you do not want to stabilize your attention. Why? You can't, it's moving. You cannot stabilize the moving. In Mahamudra, in Chogchen, we learn this first. As soon as we do Shine without an object, we begin to want that to mature to Latong. For that to happen, first we separate what's moving and what is not. We learn that our perceptions, anything we see, think, or feel, or perceive is moving. And the stillness, Dharmakaya nature of mind, is not moving. But after we have well determined which is what, then we need to do the practice called yoga of dancing stillness, where we bring them back together and see that they're all the same thing. There is nothing there to stabilize that was not stable from beginningless time. Kirenge sanje kango, gugi men, mataba oma, ne mason, shi mason, kireng korang mugo, zomugo, korang rang la gugi men. Gundu, di kireng dempo hako gundu. Yundu mikta, semnalo, semkata, semkasemta. Tene hakogere. By continuously checking on it, you will become certain, but you will not stabilize anything that has not been stable from beginningless time. You cannot. Give it up.
So it's not like stabilizing, but keep just resting in it, like getting used to.
Get
noticing.
used to it until you're sure. But nothing that was not already stable will stabilize. Samsara and nirvana. A piece of paper written on one side with the other side blank. But it's the same piece of paper. Other questions?
Yes, there's some from our video audience.
Okay.
One moment here.
Would you go out to the kitchen and get me, oh no, you speak better Tibetan. Would you go out to the kitchen and get me a transparent glass?
So the question from the YouTube audience is it possible to overdo this practice? Oop.
Oops.
Yeah.
If you don't do it in a relaxed manner, yes. Cheer. Glass chikyori. Shell. Chikusho. Serwa shell. Pardon me, guys. Old farts, you know.
Mm.
Next.
Okay. One moment. when I try to find where the image in my mind is, my mind doesn't feel expansive. It just feels like an empty stare into things.
Relax more. You're holding yourself too tight. If that doesn't work, do a set of prostrations before you try it and tire yourself a little bit.
Are the pointing out instructions in Mahamudra the same as in Dzogchen?
Extremely similar.
Are there any major differences that would make the Mahamudra pointing out very different?
Nah. No, it's only what you do with it. We generally encourage people to practice shine for a long time so that there isn't really the same pointing out experience. It grows over time, a recognition of the stillness. It's a bit of a different approach. More suitable for some people, less suitable for others.
Is it a good idea to use the, quote, inner sound, end of quote, as a kind of anchor for recognizing Rigpa?
Not that I know of. There may be teachings on how to do that, but I've never encountered one.
Another question is, how important is devotion in receiving and recognizing these instructions?
Devotion is a funny word. Guru Yoga Lama Lena is extremely important. But you must see past the personality of your teacher, past the form, which I assure you farts and picks its nose and does everything else that human beings do, because unless a teacher wears a body, how the hell are they going to talk to you? You can't talk to the void. How can you be friends with it? It's too ethereal and dispersed. So you do need a teacher. But your devotion is to Semgingo, Buddha nature. You're grateful to the teacher for opening the door, for showing you where to look. But the teacher doesn't give you something you did not have before. You always had Buddha nature. Remember, it's unborn, undying. It does not come and go. You can't lose it no matter what you do. Even Donald Trump has Buddha nature. And Putin. And the other politicians driving us crazy in the world. They all have Buddha nature. They just haven't looked in that direction. Too busy chasing power, money, whatever they personally are chasing.
What happens if one is not able to perceive the nature of mind on the first pointing out?
Then you do the Nundro, the one I taught just now, where you go through your body piece by piece looking for it. And then you go through outside piece by piece looking for it. And then you come back and go through your body piece by piece looking for it. And you do that a lot of times until there is a sensation of a not finding a place that will occur from doing this enough. And in that not finding is the finding of it. You get that?
Lama Lena, phenomena sina meneng kare. Phenomena.
Phenomena de saja chalak tamchi. Pene, dorji, telephone, me, boo. Kari kidding rigandu, tugandu, trematagandu, shimotagandu. Di tsangma phenomenon segandu. Pumin kariri.
La.
Pupa kandrase phenomenon.
Phenomena si. Ma cheta hapo mwete cheta.
Chik yure.
La ke chati ba. Ngwepo sigora.
Ha?
Ngwepo.
Ngumbo. Gigi, tatare. Rinpoche gyundu segandu, ngatata di minka jiso.
No.
Ngumbo.
Ngwepo tamje.
Ngumbo tamche, phenomenon.
No.
We were just looking for a word to make sure we had understanding across the languages. Other questions?
Namye ni pa na.
Ah,
Namye ni pa. Namye tangbo ngo cham temba. Namye ni pa ri su chawa sia.
tatare.
Another question that's come up. I have a condition where my eyes bounce back and forth. Does that impact how I do the eye instruction?
Yep. For you and only for you, I think it will be best to close your eyes. Otherwise, the bouncing of your eyeballs will distract you into looking at things. So try it with your eyes closed, you and only you, not all of you. Only the person with this medical condition should try it with their eyes closed. And that's experimental. Let's see what happens if that helps with the medical condition.
I have a question.
Yes.
For us Westerners who have more trouble sitting cross-legged low, is it okay to do practice sitting in a chair?
Maitreya position, yes.
Okay.
You can use the Japanese position with the sitting stool or kneeling stool. You can use the Maitreya position, or you can use the cross-legged position. It's not so important which one of those as that you get your channels in alignment in the beginning. It helps you see Tawa. Once you are highly familiar with Tawa, you can see Tawa from any position. But you're trying to make it easier to catch the first glimpse. That's where the position, the eyeball focus, and all of that helps.
I have a question.
Yes.
So like you're saying, guru devotion is really important, and I have other teachers who have also said that for realizing Dzogchen practice. What kind of guru devotion practices might you recommend, like doing guru yoga in the Nundro context, if you're feeling like you want to increase guru devotion, or?
You could. Put a picture of your teacher on the altar. And when you see them, when you see the picture, think of them as the conduit rather than the personality, but the personality which is manifested as the conduit. Find how close and far you need to be from your teacher. They say the teacher is like a bonfire. You get too close, you're going to get singed. You get too far, you're going to get cold. The proper distance is different for each person. It's up to you to figure that out. To come closer by doing some of the teacher's work, there's always something a teacher can find for someone to do. To go farther away by just sort of taking space. That will keep you from having an accident of guru devotion. Also, do not try to interpret your teacher's behavior according to your way of seeing it. Use I statements when thinking about your teacher. So instead of thinking, he said this really crazy thing to me, think, I was completely unable to understand what he said to me. It felt really crazy to me. Do you see the difference? Work on I statements. The world you perceive is your own projection. It's not really the way you think it is. This is important. All of phenomena is not what you think it is. Your thoughts are mistaken. All thoughts. Because they limit. They confuse you. And they catch your attention and make you listen to them. You will need to learn this. It was supposed to be a piece of rock crystal. I didn't have any. But this also is transparent. Your thoughts are not solid. Kiengi nam talk tupo mari, chelak mari. Nga nam talk dina table chiyere. De mason. Stop seeing them as real. Nam talk sangma dempo mari. Nam talk kari sumna. Konso selware chiparig semkingo. Ako yimbe. All thoughts are transparent. Look through them at nature of mind. This is the key. Other questions here? Matoya.
Although the Buddha nature is beyond virtue and unvirtue, but creating virtue, can it help to recognize or more to stay in that recognitions, or?
Creating virtue will help you have a nice time and nice circumstances, such as being here in this power place in order to practice. Now, truly, you could practice in hell, except you'd probably forget. So, your virtue does not cause you to does not cause you to directly perceive nature of mind better, but it does give you the circumstances to receive the teachings on it. It does give you the circumstances to practice it. So, for instance, you're not too sick to do your practice. You have leisure to practice. You have the freedom to travel. So these are advantages that come from practicing Gewa. Without enough Gewa, you'll never receive these teachings. Something else will happen to you today. The bus didn't come. I got the shits. All sorts of things. Other questions?
No, there's questions from the audience.
I'll take a few more, but I pretty much said it all. And now you gotta go practice. If you didn't get it, well, I told you how to do a preliminary practice that would help you get it. If you did get it, I told you what to do with it. Gone. Quick glances, check on it, see if it's still there. So you know where you are. Are you going to do the checking in your hair, in your scalp? Looking for it inside the body piece by piece, looking for it outside the body piece by piece, until you have a clear experience of open, vast not finding? Or did you catch that when I telepathically sent it to you? When I showed it to you, when I described it to you in instructions? If you caught it, then all you have to do is return your attention to it again and again. Hakogimbe? Which is Gom, the second word of Garib Dorji. And that is a good text for you to read in Tibetan. I'm sure it's in the library, if you don't have it. Tsiksumna Deb. Other.
Okay. What does sit-down meditation look like in Dzogchen in terms of practice duration? I think the question's how long or how often to do these practices.
Every morning when you first get up, for as long as you like. 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then Gom continuously throughout the day. No limit.
Another question is, I seem to have glimpses when I recognize that even when my mind is still, that stillness is just yet another thing. So in a sense, a busy mind and a still mind are the same. Am I confused over this?
No, that is absolutely correct. However, in the beginning, it is easier to see nature of mind when you slow it down a bit. And when it's very busy, it is more difficult to see nature of mind. Once you have a lot of experience doing this, no, they're not different. Nature of mind doesn't change. Semgi ngo, chuku ngo, jorwa mare, if you are busy mind or still mind, shine or busy, doesn't change it. Remember, Sanjay Kungo, Ne Ma Song Shigime. Unborn, undying doesn't come and go, no matter what happens. Learn to trust it. See it for yourself. Feel it. Perceive it. And then let go of the perception and recognize that you are it. When Gom matures, the separation between subject and object is inapparent, or rather this lack of separation becomes apparent. It always was, it's not new. You notice it. It becomes an of course. This is where rochik occurs, one taste. The taste of one's own self-ego and the taste of the mountains and the trees, they are not different flavors. All phenomena arises of the same place. The river merges with the ocean, in which the currents swirl without separating or joining. The waves arise, the waves dissolve, without becoming anything or going anywhere. No thing and everything happens. Samsara and nirvana without differentiation. And all of this is simply a natural state that need not be accomplished, acquired or achieved, but simply recognized repeatedly until you're sure. Ye wani are complete for today, Nyando. You can take us offline.
Okay.
Thank you all for coming. The pointing out and the four wongs are simple and short. If I add more words, it doesn't get more profound. It's truly simple. Relax, let go, leave it be. It's the utterly natural state.